Motherfucking Thor.
Is that really something?
Receiver.
I looked at it. If they would have gave ball to stop, I would have cut the game off. I would have kicked the camera. You would have all jumped bigger. I feel like that's what we should do.
Oh, what? A team coin game.
Team coin game. Your favorite, man.
What?
Actually, Dylan's favorite. I ain't gonna lie to you.
How do you?
Dylan, what's the point of this, bro? What you talking about? He started stopping me from getting paper. Like, you stopping people bag, bro? You really saying that Dylan? I used to love. That shit ain't working.
I don't go that far down here. Well, in there.
He's gonna let this go. Back of the end zone.
Drop a bag, man.
Bullshit, man.
That might be the lane.
You really wasn't. You wasn't.
That was pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Why you gotta think about that? Oh. He had a 10 though.
Yeah, but then I can do it. What if you get a 1?
Bank on it.
I will.
You scared? You just do your own dice bar. That wasn't me. I was actually. I was ready to win because I keep winning these hoes. Unlike Ben said, I'm going like the last 19. Ready? Bro. Chill. Y'all gotta chill. Y'all.
Okay, I'm trying to climb it. Oh!
That's shaking the root. That's so fucked up, bro.
Yeah, I took him away. Look at you. Alright. Stop.
That's
You?
You got the ball like that. You got the ball right forward.
Dirty.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's so trash.
A solid response after giving up back-to-back first downs. Play action. Now Jackson rolling to his right.
I don't know though.
Deep left side.
You got that, bro.
You know you're gonna get the
that.
the 1 star.
He got the double thing too.
No, I don't.
He did got the double thing.
You can literally see my items. How far is it?
Red ass, blind ass, bitch. Take this shit. Snag this shit. I had to, bro. Me? But he don't want to hit you.
Receiving the stars. That shit happens.
Wow. Please don't let me stop, bro.
Lit.
Honestly, they should let me box this man, bro. He think he's all big and bad, bro. Ain't nobody scared of you, bro. Yeah. You got it back. You got it back. He can get around. Yes. You got a lot.
What the fuck?
Just getting kind of nervous. Are you right here? Who? Me? Maybe. If I am, y'all lost.
Yeah.
Alright, I just got robbed though, yo. Don't do it. Don't do it. You said you're not Mickey. You said you're not Mickey.
What's the trump card do? Who's the star?
I'm not Mickey. I ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna do it.
Okay.
So oops, that's what you gotta do. That's what you gonna say?
Oh.
I'm not. I ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Even though you robbed me, it don't matter to me. Fuck that golden pipe.
Go ahead. Don't tell the cops now. Don't tell the cops. Because you fucking tricked your ass to not get a star.
Just get out the mud.
Alright, bro. That was noble for the people at the house.
It was noble.
That was noble for the people at the house. But like you said in anime basketball, that was a dub. And you would have got it? Oh, you would have got it. You got one. You got one. That's your shit. That's your shit.
That was he was
Don't put your luck on my nigga.
Right.
That's too hard.
That's
That's what they do, bro. Are they serious?
Are you running fast?
Let me give you.
Let me ask you a question. How did he get himself in that situation? Y'all really weaving?
Yo, don't stack.
Oh,
Hey, move over.
damn, man.
I was just trying to say,
Leave it up to him.
I've been waiting to use you, brother.
Both of them. I'm gonna go to the club.
Power play.
We in there, y'all. Don't up with the boys, boy. It's 2-star ball, Kano. Hey, call me 2-star ball. Yes, sir.
Stars.
Yes, sir.
I'm a star. Come on, kid. You know you're gonna be a star.
Hey, where y'all energy go? Y'all energy go? Stop crying, bro. It's okay, bro. We know you wasn't gonna win anyway. We knew what it was.
Ben has been gone since Lynn won 4.
Bitch, stop talking to me, bro.
God damn, it was. Hey, y'all, be on your shit, bro.
Stop playing with me.
Bitch, stop.
Something like that. Leave it up.
Oh, what? So
What did it say to me?
So Ben,
What did it say to me? What did it say to me? What did it
all
say
the
to me?
Cleveland big cousins.
What did it say to me?
Hey, you know
What are you talking about?
You know what it is? It is what it is. Yeah, don't fight with it, just accept whatever it is, bro. I couldn't stop for you. I couldn't stop for you. I couldn't stop for you. Don't do this, nigga.
I ain't gonna do it.
Alright, man. He noble. He's just playing a double game for people at the house, bro. He's playing a double game for people at the house. Cool.
What?
Ben, go get the play stop. Go ahead. Get him, bro.
That's crazy. What are you doing right now? Why are you I'm in a bag?
That's like, no, it's because it's because you're trying something noble.
No, but he's been doing it.
Already. It's a lot of selling.
Wait, what the fuck?
This game tripping today, boy.
It's so weird, bro.
This whole trip.
You weren't even it didn't finish.
Y'all, convince myself to stay in the game real fast.
I already stole one. I'm gonna make you good.
I already stole one, exactly. It's in my blood.
It's in my blood. He can't just say it.
Are you calling that black man a thief?
No, I'm saying he's already stole one, and then he's gonna switch up and say he's not gonna steal
Yes, I'm not about that.
That's valid.
I did not see what he said.
I'm glad you're not calling that black man a thief.
Could not be.
I don't know.
Y'all, we know doing our racing, please don't do that.
Yeah, bro.
Before they start. Hell yeah, put that on Twitter and lock him in. Give him cancer.
This is my burner.
Now he's 43 from the house. Goddamn, he's 43. Now roll your low ass number and go. There you go, y'all.
Yeah, I can't do it.
You know.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it, you know.
All he ever wanted, y'all, was his name on the headlines of a party.
I thought we were gonna leave that house.
You got me fucked up. I'm like, I got the least amount of stars.
I had the least amount of stars. I waited my turn. that came up.
We got 3 deterrents. I don't got no time for that.
That's all I gotta do is beat y'all. You have to pick your head up. Oh, you got me with a nice one. Like expect no bitch ass. Why you got the read on me, bro?
I'm out here. Where is out here? Nigga, I was out there. Where is me, bro?
Honestly, what's wild is I thought I was winning. I thought I was going in, bro. I was winning. You're like 6 seconds ahead of me. Hey, man. He didn't block hard. What is that? We all know what it is. Leave it on himself. he got 2 stars in his items, bro. That's some bullshit, bro.
Look out, green, white. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, bro.
Damn.
I'm trying to tell you, though. He did say that.
Make you all the way over. You didn't know that. He did.
Yeah, but replay.
Okay, I'm saying that.
Yeah.
It's nothing. That's so crazy, bro. This is crazy how this game going right now, bro. We got niggas 2s.
So they back pocket, bro. They gave me that, I don't know what to do.
They got roped into this game. We not even winning like for real, bro. We ain't winning mini games, nothing. What did you do to deserve this win if you win, bro? Like, get to the second place, nigga. What did you do? Get the real one to get to the second place, nigga, I guess. What did you do to win this?
Here is Tudor Dixon, who is running for governor in Michigan. Gretchen Whitmer is running as the incumbent, and if you recall, there was some sort of plot, and it's a little shady in terms of like how much of it was provoked, but there was a plot to basically kidnap her over COVID policies. Is that accurate? That was during that time, or was it over?
Yeah, it was over this shutdown type of
Of course, basically, the route start developed I got the sense that maybe the run would set up for him, and he took full advantage of it and got a big gain on a busted play.
On 1st and 10, it's Dallas. You were doing it to Muslims en masse just all across the country. I mean, I personally, like, I'm first to believe the FBI trapped me, but I also think that there's plenty of raw material there. For these militia groups to actually easily trap.
Regardless, though, with all those caveats included, Tudor Dixon decided to bring up this plot where the governor could have been kidnapped and killed in the context of her own race against her, and basically tries to reappropriate this plot to kidnap the governor for her own ends. It's bizarre.
The sad thing is that Gretchen will tie your hands, put a gun to your head, and ask if you're ready to talk. For someone so worried about being kidnapped, Gretchen Whitmer sure is good at taking business hostage and holding it for ransom.
That's what's so crazy. crazy to me is like, I think even if you're the most odious right-winger, and no, maybe the more odious right-wingers would be on board with this, no one wants to think about how terrifying it would be to be kidnapped and like using it as a cudgel against your political opponent because they were the victim of potentially a kidnapping plot.
With the step and repeat behind her that says Michigan Families United.
I mean, that's a bold move to reference that. Most Republicans would probably be distancing themselves from such an effort to kidnap and physically harm a governor, but not her. Not her.
And I mean, I'll just say personally, I think there is a difference between things like kidnapping a person at gunpoint and a ton of business needing to close because there's a novel virus going around that ultimately killed a million people.
No.
Slight difference there, but I will say, when the government does that to businesses, basically coerces them. That's actually what I like about politics and civilians and foreign politics is to tell capitalists that you actually can't do this anymore. You keep your nightclub open. You can't kill multiple people or bingo nights closed for this time to going outside.
It really is gross, but don't feel great about her chances in hearing the crowd reaction to that reference there.
They'll throw on first down with Jackson. Being chased out left. First down and more for Jackson. And out of bounds on the other side of midfield at the 45. A big pickup there on the
Here is Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy speaking at, or I guess they were doing some sort of like Pennsylvania event.
Yes, this is a lot of their agenda. Their agenda for the next coming House term, and they were hearing some remarks about what from a woman who was in attendance at the event about what she wants them to focus on going into next year when they capture, recapture the House.
And there's a good chance that they will recapture the House. So this is a preview of what their agenda is going to be, which is critical race theory, Mr. Potato Head, that kind of thing. They've spent the past 2 years really not coming up with any real agenda. It doesn't matter because you have people like this who are in their constituency think that this platform is sufficient.
However, a sea of defenders have intercepted. Picked up by Jimmy Cooper. And the Bucs are in great shape here.
They talk about wanting to focus on inflation and the economy and energy independence at the border. Remember this woman saying what she wants them to focus on.
There are many other public education issues concerning parents like myself. The slow creep of critical race theory, diversity, equity, and inclusion, gender identity, and allowing biological boys to enter girls' spaces and sports. Now we have SEL, which is social emotional learning. It's indoctrination disguised as programs like kindness initiatives or anti-bullying programs or diversity projects. These are all Marxist-style programs targeting our children.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, right? Like, this is the consequence of what the Republican Party stokes so they don't have to talk about, say, their tax agenda. Like, and their pro-corporate agenda. They ride on, a lot of them are bigots themselves, but the ones that aren't in the House, the Republican representatives, want this woman's vote, so they're going to say what they have to say anyway. And I would argue they're bigots just by, like, allowing for this kind of talk to happen within their party. But, when this is what you push on the ground, it activates their voter base for this to feel like it's like the end of the world when critical race theory is being taught at a local college in their area.
It is not Marxist to say that there's been racism in American history. I don't quite follow that ticket. Yeah, no. I am absolutely amazed that even though, of course, this woman is a voter, she's not a member of leadership, but I am just amazed that there is zero pushback from a mainstream political party where a woman is saying to them that she wants them to focus on
ending anti-bullying programs.
That's the thing.
So now the Republicans are on record as being at least okay with the idea of putting anti-bullying initiatives on the same level of critical race theory or DEI programs in schools. They are equivalent to one another.
But that's the thing, right? They work hand in hand, and we had that Texas candidate.
I thought of her was Shelley Luther. I thought of her when I saw this clip.
Yeah, who was lamenting the fact that her children were unable to bully gay kids or trans kids in school. They are the pro-bullying party. I mean, Trump is the ultimate bully.
Well, what they're mad about is a number of cases have happened where kids have been suspended or something for bullying, and it's been bullying trans kids. And the parents think that should be allowed, and that these kids should not face punishment for that. And all of a sudden, the school starts getting death threats and things like that. That's the real. That's where the rubber hits the road here.
And protecting the children is as old of a trope in like right-wing politics as there can be. It really is just bigly for larger like hatred and protecting institutions that are discriminatory. And like they want bullying to exist. By the way, again, as Trump is the number one bully in the country, wasn't Melania's whole thing BS? It's so sad. But like at the same time, you can just see how there's just really no connection with whatever, is being said at the top, and how on that front it's just like, a way to hide the true reality of this. But regardless, like, they were probably bullies themselves. I'm sure they bullied gay kids and called them slurs, and they want their kids to be able to do the same thing without consequences. It's the same kind of like cancel culture debate thing, which is like, this is the worst thing in the world because I'm facing consequences for my hateful rhetoric. But they don't want to see gay kids, they don't want to see trans kids, they want them bullied out of existence, either to go back into the closet or to kill themselves. And they want that to be a larger policy that said like, okay, yeah, in schools you should be able to do this. And that's like an activating principle for Republicans going into the midterms. It's astounding to me, but we said this from the start of the critical race theory panic. And now, with these Don't Say Gay bills coming out of Florida and other places, if you're able to activate these parents at PTA meetings, at school board meetings, they're going to go to the polls as well. And so, like, with this hateful rhetoric, they're able to make politics as personal as possible, because it makes it seem like your kids will be indoctrinated at any moment or suspended for bullying a trans kid. Better vote Republican.
Kiel, Wisconsin. This is just from living in here, but in May of this year, the Kiel area school district launched an investigation into 3 middle school boys for violation of Texas civil rights law. This Title IX sexual harassment investigation resulted in national news coverage and threatening lawsuits. Attorneys fees bomb threats, death threats, and canceled school and civic activities. And that was in part after one of the people appeared on Tucker Carlson to complain about it.
And this is caught right along the sideline. What a job of keeping the toes in bounds there.
Fuck him.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete. 2 drives won't tell the story of this game, but
in it, you wrote a number of important lessons for the young prince, such as do not be mean, loathe gluttony, and do not violate widows. Important lessons for any 9-year-old boy. Around this time, Henry's older brother Arthur, now 15 years old, was married to Catherine of Aragon, sealing a union between England and Spain. And then he died. Oh, my alliance with Spain, my poor alliance with Spain. And your son, sire? Oh, Yes, of course, my son. But mostly my alliance with Spain. Hey, Puff, who the heck are you? Oh, yeah! And just like that, an unprepared Prince Henry was now the new heir to the throne. And how about that alliance with Spain? Well, the solution was simple. Hey, boy, see that full-grown woman over there? That's gonna be your wife. What, my brother's widow? Yes. You're a freaking weirdo, man. Now, in the Bible, there's a verse that says marrying your brother's widow, that's a big no-no. So the king needed to convince the Pope and get his special permission. Hey, can I please have my son marry his brother's widow? Sure, why not? And so it was. Henry's life was turned on its head as he was moved to the royal court, next in line to the throne. But tragedy struck when just a few months later, his mother, with whom he was very close, suddenly died in childbirth. The loss of his mother almost certainly had a big effect on the young boy. In his older years, King Henry VII went on a bit of a paranoid trip. As was normal for a king at the time, Henry VII had to quell a number of rebellions, and as he aged, he became ever more suspicious of the nobility around him. To keep them in check, he began levying huge, ruinous fines left, right, and center. Dukes, bishops, barons, even his own mother. No one was safe from his tyranny, and the nobility of England began to suffer. So when Henry VII finally got sick and died just after Christmas 1508, there was a lot of celebrations. Not only because the tyrannical Henry VII was gone, but because his replacement was the ever-popular, charming, and handsome 18-year-old King Henry VIII. Henry married Catherine of Aragon in June 1509. You may be wondering if it's so weird to marry your brother's widow, and since he's now king, couldn't Henry just decide not to? Well, yes, he could, but by now, Henry wanted to. The thing about Henry that was unlike many kings of the time was he married for love, and he'd grown quite fond of Catherine, very fond. Historians say their marriage was unusually good, and so he was coronated king, and what a king. Compared to his tyrannical father, he was an absolute joy. Having the blood of two royal houses, he was widely supported. He was really ridiculously good looking, and those famous calves could achieve world peace. Hey Henry, now that you're king, you know what that means. Costume party! Henry pranced around the palace playing dress-up with his friends. He wrote plays, he sang songs, he danced. A true Renaissance man, very different from the gluttonous wife killer we think of today. In his early reign, people from near and far would come to ask favors of the generous king. Hey man, could I get ownership of some land near Upton Snobsbury? Sure thing, pal. Hey, could I be an earl or a baron or a viscount or something? Anything you want, man. Could I get, just a really cool pig that has, freaking metal wings and 8 legs and shoots flipping lasers, and it can grow more pigs out of it for extra pigs? Say no more. Hey, guys, just checking up on the financial report, and what the hell? We can't afford this. Henry's council that he inherited from his father weren't happy with the money he was just throwing around, and they worked hard to curb the king's spending. Since they controlled the royal seals needed to get stuff done, at first they were largely able to control the young king. And for Henry, the most infuriating things of all was they wouldn't let him joust with his friends because it was too dangerous, nor would they let him do the thing he wanted most, to go on a great, glorious, and expensive conquest against England's historic enemy, France. Henry wanted glory. He wanted to go down as history. If he didn't go to war in France, even the King of England, man, I want to go to war so bad. But the council won't let me. And maybe I can help him then. Whoa, it's Cardinal Wolsey, one of my best friends. Despite being the oldest man, Cardinal Wolsey knew that if he helped King Henry, there'd likely be something in it for him. So what was his great intricate plan?
Whoa!
Wolsey began writing bills that simply didn't require the seals, and thus Henry was back on top. For his efforts, Wolsey began to climb the ranks, and he became something of a yes-man for King Henry, encouraging Henry to frolic and play while Wolsey took care of business. Hey, kid, you want to go on an adventure? Do I ever? The Pope was at war with France, and he needed some help. He offered the young, impressionable King Henry 100 Parmesan cheeses, some wine, and a bullet rose if he came to the Pope's aid, as Henry was all in. At this point in his life, he still respected the church and loved the Pope, and here was the chance for war he had been waiting for. He still didn't have an heir, a fairly big problem for a monarch at the time. For right now, the only kind of smashing he was interested in was smashing French guys in the face. And so off he went. The English already held the French city of Calais. From there, Henry made a glorious victory at the Battle of the Spurs. He took the French cities of Terouanne and Tournai. Word of his victory spread. This was it. Here was the glory he had been waiting for. Back Back home, his beautiful wife also led armies to victory in Scotland, and better yet, she was pregnant. Soon, Henry would have an heir. All of Henry's wildest dreams were coming true. Oh, he ran out of money. As the French prepared to invade Italy, all Henry could do was go home. Well, at least now I have an heir to cheer me up. Bring me my son. Henry, this is Mary. Mary? That's a funny name for a boy. Henry, it's a girl. This was Catherine's fifth pregnancy that had not resulted in a male heir. Happy Henry wasn't so happy anymore. You still haven't given me a male heir. Well, how do you know it's my problem? Maybe it's your problem, Henry. It couldn't be my problem because I've been bulking half your maid staff and one of them gave me a boy. Sure. Yeah, you know what? Maybe it's my problem. Oh, Cardinal Wolsey, now Henry's Lord Chancellor, knew his job depended on keeping Henry happy, and so he said, well, if you can't be the great warrior, then how about the great peacemaker? Not as cool, but okay. And so the field of the cloth of gold, a glamorous peace between England and France, was held. The King of France, Francis I, was essentially the French version of King Henry, and the whole thing was basically one giant codpiece measuring contest. The two sides did agree to a peace treaty. However, it didn't last long. You see, there was a third major player in European politics at the time, an exquisite specimen of royal inbreeding, an heir to a huge inheritance, and a chin that could hit a home run. Holy Roman Emperor Charles V. He was Henry's wife's nephew. Henry had helped him out in the past to put down a Spanish rebellion, and now the two wanted to make an alliance, and so a marriage was arranged. Mary, I'd like to bring to you 42-year-old fully grown adult husband, and now your future husband. Ew, he looks inbred. Mary. All inbred. With their new alliance, Charles and Henry agreed to team up and relaunch a campaign against France. If they were pretty quick, England landed in storming the bars like that. But Charles didn't come in significant forces. Whoops, sorry, not sure what happened. I'll join it next year. The next year, England swept over the France, almost taking Paris. Once again, where was Charles? Oh man, I'm so sorry. I promise. Next year, I'll be there. Next year came, and instead of Henry decided he was going to sit this one out. Just as Charles ravaged the French in the Battle of Pavia and captured the French king, yeah, I totally kicked Francis, but that's great. So, can I have the French throne like we agreed? What? And also, I don't want to marry your ugly daughter anymore. Ugly? Have you seen your chin? Mommy says it's a strong chin for a strong boy. As Henry's alliance with Charles fell apart, Henry knew his days as a warrior were over. This was a problem for him, but it was a big problem for his wife. Catherine of Aragon had two jobs. The first was to give Henry a male heir. The second was to maintain an alliance with her relatives in Spain, including her nephew. She had failed, and Henry's sexy eyes began to wander. Home from all his wars, Henry ate up his daily 5,000 calories of meat as an infatuation began to grow for one of his wife's ladies in waiting, Anne Boleyn. Beautiful, intelligent, cultured. She was exactly Henry's type. Now, Henry had had dozens of mistresses, including Anne's sister, but Anne didn't want to just be Henry's side chick. She wanted to be his queen. Henry sent dozens of letters, thirsty love poems. In one, he proclaimed that he would like to kiss her pretty duckies. Henry's loins were on fire, but Anne kept him at just the right distance to drive him crazy and push him to find a way to get rid of his current wife. Wolsey, I want a divorce. And as a representative of the Pope here in England, I expect you to sort it out quickly and quietly. I don't want this to turn into a Europe-wide scandal. You've got it, Your Majesty.
Hey, Big Papa! My boy Henry says he wants to divorce his wife. Any chance?
To Henry's shock and horror, Wolsey deferred the case back to the Pope in Rome. To make matters worse, after all the wars in Europe, the Pope was currently under the thumb of Charles V. Now everybody knew what was going on, and Henry's divorce trial had become a pawn of greater European politics. For Wolsey, the decision was a disaster. His job was to keep Henry happy, and Henry was very, very unhappy. Nevertheless, the divorce trial began. Henry's case rested upon the Bible verse in Leviticus that claimed marrying your brother's widow would lead to childlessness, and Henry was certainly having a hard time getting a male heir. He argued that the Pope had got it wrong when he allowed Henry to marry his brother's widow, and that now divorce was the only solution. However, the Pope and Charles V acquired some interesting letters from an unknown source. He wants to kiss her pretty duckies. Man, this guy's loins are on fire. The Pope now knew the case for divorce may not actually be found in Henry's Bible, but in Henry's pants. After escaping Charles V, the Pope did send out one Cardinal Campeggio to oversee the trial. Campeggio was an old man racked with gout. It took him 6 painful months to travel from Rome to England, and when he finally got there, this kept happening. Hey, I need you to take a look at this evidence. I can't. My gout is acting up. Hey, are you ready to take my testimony? I can't. My gout is acting up. Hey, can you please make a decision? I can't. Your gout is acting up. My gout is acting up. Anne Boleyn, with her Protestant views in support of the Reformation, suspected the Pope was just delaying. For 2 whole years, the trial dragged on, and in the end, the Pope simply said, no divorce for you. Henry, the king that had previously defended the Pope militarily from France and intellectually from the reformist ideas of Martin Luther, who had once respected the Pope above all, now found the Pope standing between him and fourth base. Your Majesty, what will you do? I'm the king, dum-dum. I can do whatever I want. What? For his failure, Henry removed Wolsey from the court, a decision that was likely influenced by Anne Boleyn, who disliked the cardinal. Having fallen from grace and with potential charges of treason over his head, Wolsey died of illness a year later. Then, Henry set about removing England from the influence of the Pope. Hey, if you do that, I'll excommunicate you. Who cares, man? Oh no. Apathy. My weakness. Henry gathered theologians and scholars together to help him make his case against the Pope. Together, they argued to the people of England that the Pope's rule over the Church was basically a takeover of what had once been a self-governing national English Church. And if that sounds familiar, some historians do believe this moment may have laid the foundations for English Euroscepticism. That's right, Brexit may have been influenced by Henry's explosive loins. By and large, the people gave Henry their support, and those that didn't were going to be in for a rough time. But for now, Henry assumed the role of supreme head of the English Church, and his next divorce trial was a foregone conclusion. Catherine of Aragon was Aragon, and Anne Boleyn was in. Alright, I've upended the entire country to be with you, so you'd better give me a son, okay? Now, did you get my letter about the duckies? Having finally married the girl of his dreams, it was party time for him, and what a party. Life in the Tudor court was non-stop, huge banquets, with each person eating on average 5,000 calories a day, and no vegetables. Those are for poor people. Rich people ate meat. And so you know what else is for rich people? Constipation. But don't let that stop the party. The toilets are communal, and Henry himself was the center of everything. He ate the best food. He had 1,200 pairs of shoes. He didn't even have to wipe his own bum-bum. Life was great. Everyone, I give you your majesty, King Henry VIII. But how did they pay for it all? Well, influenced by his barely Protestant wife, since Henry had overturned the organization of the church, this is how they paid for it. Oh my goodness, how awful. Selling fake fragments of the cross? Vials of Jesus' blood that you got from a duck? Using religion in this way? This is terrible. I must confiscate all this money at once. Yes, how awful. I must take all of this away. Immediately, monasteries across the nation were dissolved and their riches placed in the royal coffers. Obviously, many people weren't too happy about this, but Henry had a plan for that as well. Henry's descent into tyranny had begun, as any who rejected his new claim as supreme head of the English Church found their heads on the chopping block. And so Henry partied, he danced, he sang, he ate, he jousted. Love Glenn. Finally, in 1536, Henry fell from his horse in a jousting accident. Not for the first time, but certainly the heaviest fall he had taken yet. Some historians believe the brain damage caused by the incident may have violently accelerated Henry's descent into tyranny. Executions in England ramped up. During his reign, it's estimated 57,000 to 72,000 people were put to death. Rich or poor, big or small, no one was safe, and the most prominent victim of all was to be Henry's own wife. It had been 3 years since their marriage. Anne had been pregnant 4 times, yet she had only been able to produce one healthy child, a girl. What's more, it's possible she had been going around insulting Henry's manhood. Henry's eyes, once again, began to wander. His new top man, Thomas Cromwell, didn't want to end up like Cardinal Wolsey, and so he came up with a plan. There was a court musician who had been quite flirtatious in public with the Queen. Well, Thomas Cromwell and his boys got a forced confession out of it, saying that it didn't stop at innocent flirtation, and the charges came rolling in. Listen, Anne, we need to talk. Oh no, you're gonna divorce me, aren't you? Just like your last wife. Aw, no, come here. Shh, no, I'm not gonna divorce you. It's much worse than that. Anne was charged with adultery, perversion, even incest, and plotting to kill the king himself. The jury found her guilty, including her own uncle and ex-fiancé, both fearing the wrath of the king. And on May 19, 1536, Anne Boleyn was Anne Boleyn. Literally the next day, Henry married one of Anne's ladies-in-waiting, Jane Seymour, his third wife. After Anne had smack-talked his manhood, and since he still had no male heir, Henry went on a campaign to ensure the public knew he was as virile as it gets. He had this famous portrait painted of the manliest man I've ever seen, and later, he would even have his physician make a declaration about his health. King Henry is a fine specimen of a man, and please don't make me say this. Say it. And every time I look at him, I wish I was a woman. The truth is, after his jousting accident, the king had badly injured his leg and was no longer very active, yet he was still eating his daily 5,000 calories. So by now, Henry was extremely unhealthy. For the remainder of his life, he would incur a number of illnesses, and his injured leg ulcers would ooze stinking pus. A fine specimen of a man indeed. On the church front, Henry's new and now pregnant wife was a devout Catholic, and she pleaded with the king to reinstate the monastery. Henry was sick of wives meddling in his business, and he bluntly warned her to remember what happened to Anne Boleyn. Since splitting with the Pope, Henry had been hard at work determining the theology of his new Church of England. It kept many Catholic traditions, while on the other hand embracing some reformist ideas, such as requiring the use of a new Bible not in Latin, but in English. The cover of Henry's new Bible depicted the people appearing to worship a giant King Henry, and in the corner, there's some people being put to death, just for good measure. For any who opposed Henry's ideas, whether Catholic or Protestant, for any who rebelled against it, it would be off with their heads. In October 1537, Henry finally got what he had been waiting for. His wife Jane gave birth to a healthy boy. However, the triumph soon turned to tragedy, as Jane Seymour died days later from complications during the birth. Henry mourned Jane, the woman who had given him a son, for 2 years. Your Majesty, it's time to choose your next wife.
Thomas! Not now! Can't you see I'm in mourning?
That one. The woman Thomas Cromwell had lined up for Henry's next marriage was the sister of a powerful German duke, but all Henry cared about was that she was pretty as pie, and Thomas Cromwell promised that indeed she was. However, when she arrived in England, Henry was less than pleased. Your Majesty, let me introduce you to your fourth wife, Anne of Cleves. What's that smell? I think it's your leg, sire. No, it's Anne of Cleves. She's ugly. This is treason. What? Off with his head. Henry found his new wife so repulsive that he never consummated the marriage and divorced her just 6 months later. And for bringing Henry an ugly, stinky woman, along with additional charges of plotting treason, Thomas Cromwell lost his head. The very same day of Cromwell's execution, Henry married his fifth wife, the famed beauty, Catherine Howard. She's believed to have only been 17 at the time, but Henry was 49. And like Anne of Cleves, Catherine Howard didn't last long. You see, for some reason, she may not have been entirely satisfied with her 49-year-old fine specimen of a man, and it's possible she engaged in a number of extramarital affairs, including one with her cousin, Thomas Culpeper. When Henry found out, he was devastated. How could she do this to me? But, sire, don't you have hundreds of mistresses?
Shut up, Barry. That's not the point. Your Majesty, you're crying. I'm not crying. It's just that sometimes when I get sad, water comes out of my eyes.
For her treason, Catherine Howard met the same fate as Anne Boleyn in 1542. So we've had divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded. Look out, here comes Sir Glenn. Henry married the daughter of a royal official, Catherine Howard, in 1543, and she appears to have been a good companion to Anne. He cared for the Asian king, but now he's so she acted as a mediator and could seeking to restore his two daughters to the lines of succession. The marriage did have one hiccup, however, when Catherine dared disagree with the king over the subject of theology. It's a miracle, because when a priest says the words of institution, the bread turns into the body of Christ. So if you put the bread in a box for 3 months, is it a miracle that it turns moldy? Treason! You can't just call everything treason, Henry. The king called for her arrest, as serious charges were placed over her head. However, in the end, she told Henry that she had not been disagreeing with him, but simply learning from him. And so when the guards came to arrest him, the king told them to think like a king and breathe. Catherine Farr stayed with Harry right until the end. As he aged into his later years, in increasing pain and ill health, he grew ever more suspicious and moody. The once generous, promising young king was now feared by all around. Sigurd, I don't have much longer. Hold me. Of course, sire. Do you have any wishes? How about one last conquest of France? And so, 1544, Henry made for Calais, the best of France.
Alright, buckle down the heads of time, buckle down the heads of time, buckle down the heads of time, buckle down the heads of time.
The French surrender. A glorious victory for him. In actuality, the losing was really bankrupt England, and they ended up getting more than out of consciousness, passed away. His son Edward succeeded him, but died just 5 years later. His daughter Mary briefly reigns and steered the country back towards the Pope. But then his second daughter embraced reformist ideas and gradually. And one man living here who thought the territory should be British was James Douglas, the Hudson's Bay Company's no-nonsense chief factor at Fort Vancouver. What a beautiful, unspoiled corner.
Come on, what?
I've got my spotted dick, my Spice Girls fan club membership, and an unrelenting negative outlook on life that affects everyone. What are you looking at, Steven? Yes, truly British.
And he gets this up across the 35.
Like Douglas was that many Americans began streaming up the Oregon Trail. Gunslinging, heavy neighborhood, diarrhea happening by the thousands. They were pouring into the Oregon Territory in search of land to settle and farm. This, however, crowded out the fur trade, and eventually, a very bitter Douglas and the other Hudson's Bay traders at Fort Vancouver ordered to relocate north to a new base of operations. But the Americans keep coming, and they don't stop coming. Hopped in the wagons and they hit the ground running. It didn't make sense to keep sharing Oregon when they outnumbered the Brits more than 6-1, and suddenly the whole joint occupation deal was being called into question. Newly elected President Polk maintained that America had an obvious claim to the entire region, even implying a possible war with Britain. Fiery language from U.S. senators declared that American rifles would annihilate the Hudson's Bay Company in Oregon, and America even gave Britain notice that it was pulling out of the joint occupation agreement. The British were alarmed as the two sides stood on the brink of war. But in the end, neither truly wanted to fight. The British favored maintaining good economic relations, while the Americans had already gotten themselves into a war with Mexico. So after
back to throw. He takes it across for the touchdown, and they've taken the lead late in the final minute. Throwing, Jackson. Into the hands of Beckham. And past the 40 before he's out of bounds.
And here we are in the fourth quarter, partner. We watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
Here's Jackson. Being chased out left. Well, he will go out right near the 35-yard line. Late in the game, defense trying to avoid a big play. He's able to work out of the passing game, turn it into a run, pick up the first, and stop the clock as well.
And you know in this situation, everything is sped up. The intensity, the thinking, everyone's movement. But for a quarterback, he has to continue to do what we call flatliner. Level in everything he does and read the clock, feel it in the pocket, and go at the appropriate time.
Oh, looking for Andrews downfield, and it is incomplete. Good. Positioning there downfield to break that one up. Here's 2nd and 10. Jackson. That one complete to Prochet. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5. Now Jackson. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. And this is caught. Touchdown. And they've taken the lead here in the final minute. Has it left side. And he'll get him a first down up past the 40 as the clock ticks on. Now the Bucs going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go in the football game. A pass underneath for Fournette. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. And now with 4 seconds left, we get a timeout call. One final try now for Brady. There goes a deep ball, end zone. And this is incomplete. So no miracles here on the final play. And this ball game is over. And it's all over. Just one is left standing, and that one is the Baltimore Ravens, your Super Bowl champions. And to the Super Bowl champions, they etch their name forever in NFL immortality.
That's pretty phenomenal right there. It actually gave me chills just to hear you say that, because immortality forever and ever. When you look in the record books, you'll see this team, you'll see their picture, that your name will be a part of it. That's got to be an incredible feeling, because it's been a long journey to get there, and now they get a chance to enjoy it.